Where's the
I was worried there for a second. You know,
I was going to sing it myself.
I was gone a couple weeks. I thought, did they get rid of the awesome intro music in the 2 weeks I was away? But no, slight delay. Zach spoken into existence. Hello, everybody. Drew Franklin here. Tyler Thompson, Zack Geoghegan, Stephen Peak behind the scenes playing that music. He plays every instrument. It's pretty cool how he does that. Maybe we'll put it on camera sometime. But new KSR Happy Hour, the Thursday, April 30th edition. Last day of April as we get closer and closer. It's just a fun summer, but right now it's still busy times around these parts, and it's so busy that I brought a country boy.
Hey, me too.
Look at that. Zach, probably in response. We probably have a protein shake. What is that? You got like some peanut butter protein in there? Water. Okay.
It's Water's your good. Awala. What's the fancy
I'm an
water
Awala guy now. Yeah. Sponsor us.
Water is good for you, but it does not sponsor the KSR Happy Hour brought to you by Country Boy. So I will be partaking in a Witness the Citrus.
Lovely.
I have these most of the time. Big fan. Nice little hazy IPA. Been around a while. I'm usually drinking one of these. Whoop, almost did that upside down.
Ooh.
Into our nice Country Boy glass. Oh, look at this nice. Look at this nice haze. Oh, you can't see it.
It is so hazy.
Look at that haze. Look at that haze. Perfect.
We are witnessing.
What did you have, Tyler?
I've got the Halfway Home, the American IPA, as I show off my lovely KSR koozie.
It's a good way to get started on this Thursday.
Hi, welcome back. It's good to have you back. I know you were on radio for like a segment, but it feels like this is your first real foray back into, the shows at least. How's dad life?
It's good. It does feel weird. I'm used to only speaking to the baby and my wife. I haven't even really left the house that much. I feel like I'm in public right now, even though I'm still at home in my pajamas. But it does feel good. This is my first time talking in public, I guess. Doing some writing this week, but good to see everyone. I missed you all. Looks like, as usual, anytime I step away, all hell breaks loose. And this time, no different than the last. Is I think my first day off is when the come home banners were going up for Rob, Johnny, and Tyron. And then the next 2 weeks, yeah, just chaos. But I missed you all. How's it been going?
It's been going for certain. It feels like you've been gone for, 2.5 weeks, 2 weeks, but it feels like a month. I don't know what you think, Zach, but like you said, if we had to rank the things that happened, the big stories that happened while you were away, I'd probably put the Mitch Barnhart thing first, just in your honor. But from there, just the recruiting stuff. Back when you left, we still thought we might get Rob Wright. We thought we might get Donnie Freeman. We thought we might get Tyron Stokes, and none of the three, but it's all right. We've got it somewhat of a team, 12 players. They could go out and play right now, and we'll get into it later, but have they missed on some guys? Yeah, but I'm kind of at the point, I'm just happy that they have 12, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, when I was first away, I took 2 weeks off for paternity leave. I wasn't on my phone much, especially when baby was born, doing a lot of this. So I'm just kind of one hand scrolling when I can. But it seemed that every time I checked in on everything, Zach, there was some form of chaos going on, whether recruitment or Mitch or just the whiff memes. It was just a negative couple weeks.
Yeah,
you came back just in time for the whole Tyron Stokes thing too. Like what a perfect way to welcome yourself back to work for that. But I do want to know what your most surprising dadhood adventure has been so far. Anything that's kind of stood out to you that you were like, I was not expecting that to happen? I know we talked like a week ago and you said the baby hadn't pooped on you yet. Has that changed at all? Do we have any new developments there?
Still no active poop situations here. The diaper changing hadn't been that bad, to be honest. Got spit up on a few times. I mentioned when I did pop on KSR briefly that I put on a Titan shirt. She spit up on it. I immediately washed it, and she spit up on it again. Well, last night I'm cooking dinner, and my wife walks in wearing a Titans t-shirt covered in spit up. So the baby has something against the Tennessee Titans because it's only our Titans gear that have been getting covered. So I had a little bit of that, including there was one night she's got the little bassinet by the bed. She spit up through the mesh screen onto me while I was sleeping. So yeah, nice little surprise there. But otherwise, it's been smooth. Finally getting a little bit of sleep here and there. That was touch and go there for a while. When people talk about having to be in like the hospital for that long, and definitely not complaining. I have the easy job, but the couch they give the old dads isn't exactly great for the back. But I know better than to say that out loud to Mama, because she went through the hard part. But yeah, I'm just now getting caught up on sleep and being able to walk around standing straight up.
I was going to say, what is your schedule like right now? Is Avery Rose sleeping at night at all? Is it just like kind of an hour here, an hour there, get up for sleeping? I mean, are you all taking naps, baby naps? Because I hear that that's really important. Sleep while the baby sleeps, right?
We're trying, but usually baby likes sleeping with me. So usually nap time for the family requires me holding her, which I'm not complaining about, but I miss out on some naps. But we're finally getting a few longer nights in. It's getting about 6 hours where it was 2 or 3. But getting by. Happy to be back at work. Like I said, got a happy hour. I miss doing these. I'll admit I had a few country boys just the last couple of weeks at home, not doing much around the house other than just being a dad. Might have had a fun couple country boys here and there, keeping up with the news as it's been going on. And we'll start there with the current state of the basketball roster. Zach mentioned the Tyron Stokes announcement did not go well. Let's just go ahead and get that out of the way so we can focus on the additions Kentucky has made. Was everybody locked in for the lovely NBA tip-off? It kind of felt old school, Tyler, where we didn't really know exactly when it's going down. There was a mystery. Michael Wilbon just wouldn't shut up. It kind of added to the anticipation for anyone that was watching the show Tuesday night.
Yeah, I feel like we've gotten used to, in the last 5 years or so, just recruits announcing it or Joe Tipton announcing it on Twitter, and it's just the news is out there whenever. There's not a big lead up. So it did kind of take me back to, all right, it's going to be part of this TV show, but they're not going to do it right at the top because they want you to watch the TV show, and we're going to stretch it for time. And yeah, like you said, Wilbon wouldn't go. I felt like he was purposefully doing that. Like he was talking about how he likes to go out west for the Western Conference games and blah, blah, blah. And it's just great. And then Shaq put on that weird money helmet. And like, it took me a minute to realize, oh, they're previewing the Hawks game, because I thought when he reached for it and he was talking about the Hawks, he meant the Jayhawks. And I was like, are they just going to like spoil this right now? Is he just going to pull out a money like Jayhawk and put it on? But yeah. And then like the announcement itself, I mean, sure. If Tyron had picked UK, we'd probably be saying it was the most awesome thing in the world. But it was kind of cringe. Like he did it with a Panini card, and he pulled out the little blue and white wrapped gift or, present that had the box with the card in it. And I think it was Charles who was like, oh, that's a lot of blue and white. He's like, don't get too excited. And then if you hadn't already guessed what was going to happen, I think that told you what happened. So, but it happened. I think most Kentucky fans were pretty realistic going in that Tyron was not going to pick UK. Still, the events that unfolded that day didn't help. I think UK handled that horribly. Feel bad for my man, Justin McBride, my new favorite player on this roster. Excited about him, but he kind of got his moment kind of buried a little bit. So I think, it's been a day and a half so far. Like, I feel like people are moving on from Stokes. I'm certainly ready to move on from it. He's already at Kansas. He went on a visit the next day. So Zach, are you ready to close the book on Tyron Stokes?
I closed it the moment Justin McBride committed to Kentucky. I closed it right then and there because I knew that was the shield to protect what was about to come 45 minutes later. But yeah, I'm completely over that. Someone in the comments just said, who was it? I want to give him a little shout out. Jason Catro 8148 says, I could care less about Stokes. Couldn't care less. I'm probably the only UK fan that didn't want to come to UK. I don't think that's true. I think there was a lot of people that didn't necessarily want him to come to UK for various reasons. I will say you were talking about the old school ESPN commitment. I was fully expecting Tyron Stokes to have, like, instead of having the UK or Kansas logo shaved in the back of his head, like a money sign shaved into the back of his head, and he just turned around and committed to the university of whoever had the biggest bag. Because that's basically how this kind of played out. But yeah, I'm done with it. I'm glad that's over with. I don't want to ever talk about Tyron Stokes ever again related to Kentucky. And we'll just move on. And I would much rather talk about Justin McBride and Jerone Morton, even though they're not maybe not as high quality caliber player as a Tyron Stokes. But that could have been a very volatile situation in Lexington, to say the least, with him and Mark Pope this coming season. So yeah, I'm fine with that one being in the past now.
Well, let's get to Justin McBride. He deserves it. I mean, we don't have to dwell on it too much, but how messed up was that to roll that out at 6 o'clock before the Stokes announcement's coming? Whatever Stokes does, it doesn't matter. You've completely just covered McBride up. I thought they did him wrong there, but the fan base being awesome like they are, even though Kentucky fans get a bad rap, they made sure to really celebrate McBride after they got over the Stokes decision. Everyone caught up in that, including Tyler. You wrote a long feature about him the next day to make sure he did get those flowers, because the timing could not have been worse for them to slide that out with a UK Sports Network tweet as everyone's watching Michael Wilbon's filibustering there.
Yeah, it was not fair to him. And to be clear, that was a Kentucky move. That was not his move or his agent's move. They had been ready to have that ready to go. The more I researched him and I read Zach's bio blast on him from the recruiting process, he's a pretty valuable piece, I think, to this roster. He's going to give some depth. I mean, it'd be interesting to see who starts between him and the Usman, however, Njaye. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, different versions.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll get the pronunciation guide at some point. I think it gives Kentucky like two really interesting and very different looks at the four. You got Njaye, who's 6'11", can shoot, really stretch the floor. And then you've got Justin McBride, who's 6'7", 6'8", 240 pounds, big guy. He's really physical. I like the comparison of him as Mo Diabate, who can shoot threes. I think that's pretty good. He's still bigger than Diabate. He really played well last year for James Madison, for Preston Spraglin. I think he's got a lot of promise. His 3-point shooting really increased from his sophomore year to his junior year. His production went way up. I think he was averaging 0.4 threes per game as a sophomore. That went up to 1.2 as a junior. So I think there's a lot of potential there. And Jacob Polachek did a really great interview with him that's on KSR Plus right now. You should check it out, in which McBride kind of detailed his visit to Kentucky and the process and the vision that Pope had for him. I thought it was really good that he said that the thing that appealed most to him was Pope's plan for him. They sat in the film room and they went through it and talked about it. And I think it's interesting, McBride, he played at Oak Hill Academy for a few years in high school, but he went back to his original high school in Plano, Texas to kind of finish out his high school career. So he's kind of seen these, big prestigious programs. He started out at Oklahoma State. He went to Nevada, but then he went back to James Madison. So he kind of knows what it's like to play at a top level program. And then he's had to step back. So I don't think he's going to waste this final opportunity at a program like UK. And he told Jacob that coming to UK is like a dream come true. And I think that the genuineness of that kind of comes through. I know he's getting paid, a lot of money to come to UK, but I think he's going to be a guy who might be a fan favorite. So I'm looking forward to it.
I'm glad he committed for KSR, because I was really worried about Ryan and Mario with the eyeball emoji. Even though it seemed like they were right, I think most people believed a commitment was coming. Ryan, of all people, should have learned last summer not to do this. I mean, he got a pretty stern talking to. I think Matt was in Amsterdam or something when we were dealing with Ryan calling some commitments before they actually happened. So it was a relief, Zach, to get that done for them. But also there was a little window where it became like, is this happening? Because he visited, they did the eyeballs. I guess there's a story of them out shopping for clothes with Mo Williams at the bookstore and, getting everything ready official. But there was a little bit of a lull between the visit and when he did it. Do we think he was just kind of waiting to see how things panned out, or do you know anything there?
It was kind of odd, because I think it was like the Thursday or Friday before, I guess, of last week, where Joe Tipton kind of came out and wrote reports saying like it's Kentucky's to lose, like it's Kentucky or it's not, or the whole recruiting process starts over. So when that came out and then no commitment came, it was kind of strange, I guess, how that all unfolded. But like Tyler said, like it was a Kentucky decision to announce it when they did, and it's clear that there's a coordinated commitment announcement situation going on with the NIL deals with, is it Kentucky Farm Bureau, I think, is who is sponsoring. Commitment. Yeah, so there's obviously some sort of coordinate, which is why it mystifies me even more that Justin McBride was announced 30 minutes before Tyron Stokes told Kentucky to go screw themselves. But but it does make him kind of an immediate fan favorite just off that. I think they're not even close to comparable players really, but like the Ainsley Almanor role is kind of how I can see Justin McBride just like come in for 15 minutes a game, be a guy that can play like a 3 or 4, hit a couple threes, kind of change the game a little bit, just really play hard. And there he is right there. I love Steven's graphic that he's got with these guys now.
Nice.
played with Brandon Garrison at Oklahoma State when they were freshmen. I am very excited to ask Justin McBride about his Brandon Garrison experience when they were both freshmen together in the 2023-24 season, because they were both incoming. I think McBride was like a lower 4-star compared to Brandon Garrison, who was a McDonald's All-American. So, and then, went to Nevada, I think it was Nevada after that, and then to James Madison, where he was 3rd team All Sun Belt last year. So I kind of see him as maybe the backup for when I think Njae is who they kind of want to be the starting caliber guy. Like we just did a big Zoom action show on him earlier this week. Probably a low floor, high ceiling type guy. But if the ceiling hits, like, man, you've got a guy who can shoot threes and dunk from anywhere on the floor. So that he'd be a lot of fun. But I'm excited about the McBride addition, and kind of the same with Jerone Morton, and kind of having him as the backup guard, maybe the first guard off the bench, depending on how Pope decides to fill these last 3 spots. But I'm satisfied with how the depth pieces have gone so far. I think there's still kind of a glaring hole at the 3 in terms of a star power, which is probably going to keep them from being a preseason top 10 team unless that happens. Otherwise, they're, top 25-ish, somewhere around that range. But I do like the depth pieces, and I think it's addressed some of the issues that were an issue last season. So I'm happy with how the depth pieces have gone, at least.
McBride's definitely been in a fight with Brandon Garrison. Nothing against him or Brandon. I don't feel like you can practice with Brandon Garrison as a freshman every single day and not have one fist fight.
They dance on each other's TikToks, though. They have like 6 TikTok videos together from that year. It's interesting. Yeah. And they're like, Brandon Garrison does a lot of TikTok videos, but McBride is always there dancing with him. So it would be interesting to learn more about that relationship.
Oh, they could be great friends, but they've definitely fought before. You have not been on Brandon Garrison's team and played against him and not gotten in a bit of a fight. Also, that was Plano, Texas. Wasn't there a guy, Julius Randle? Isn't he Plano, Texas?
That's right.
Oh, that sounds right, yeah. Or maybe De'Aaron Fox. No, De'Aaron Fox from Katy, Texas. But yeah, a lot of Texas guys.
Yeah, it's right outside Dallas. Shout out to McBride. Also, shortly after that, we got the addition of Jerone Morton, Lexington native who ended up in Winchester, George Rogers Clark for high school basketball, won a Sweet 16 in Rupp, started at Moorhead. Kind of these graphics. It feels so professional. I should have worn like
you missed a lot, Drew.
I know. Should I leave? I come back and everything looks so much better. Played a couple years at Moorhead, went to Washington State last year, had a couple big games against Gonzaga, which is, if you search his highlights, that's will be the first one that comes up. That's been passed around Big Blue Nation a lot. But Tyler, they make it official, add Morton. And for me, he's not a guy that I expect to come in and, have a huge impact, but that's the good thing about him is he also knows his role. And when you're building a team like this where you need depth, certainly at the guard position, Pope seemed to have found a kid that loves Kentucky and understands what he is coming in, not someone with unreasonable expectations.
Yeah, and he's got a ton of experience too, playing for Washington State. He started at Moorhead State, went to Washington State last year, I think started 29 of 32 games. Again, he's going to be a depth piece, and he took this spot with the understanding of that. So you had to add depth in the backcourt. That's consistently what we were saying last season that really hurt Kentucky. And why not do it with a kid who grew up dreaming of playing for Kentucky right down the road? I think it's a great fit. Zach, you wrote a great piece today that's coming up, unless it's already gone up, about his Sweet 16 history, because he won a state championship with George Rogers Clark, and he was a runner-up the next year, and one of those years won Sweet 16 MVP honors. So he knows what it's like to win in Rep Arena. And I think you dug up an old picture that was really cool. I don't know, producing on the fly, we could throw it up there. It was really neat to see. So tell us what's your trip down memory lane looking up, because you covered him in those Sweet 16s. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was kind of funny to go back and look at all that stuff, because I was reading all the old articles from 2022, 2023, and honestly, it was kind of funny. I saw like a bunch of old KSR intern names too. I was like, oh wow, this is a real trip down memory lane here. But yeah, I came across a picture I took on the Rep Arena floor from kind of this time 4 years ago when Morton had won the MVP for that tournament. So yeah, he's kind of, and there's the picture right there. He's kind of, Josh Cook, the head coach at GRC, has kind of built GRC into a bit of a powerhouse out there, at least in the last, decade or so. And a big reason why is because of Jerone Morton. Like, he came in as a freshman, started playing well. He was on Brandon Canada's team when Brandon Canada was a senior at GRC, and Morton was a freshman. They, I think, lost in the 10th region championship. And then after that, like, Morton basically was in the Sweet 16 every single year. Like the one year they didn't go to the Sweet 16, they were actually in the bracket, but it got canceled because apparently a pandemic happened or something like that. So the world shut down for a while. Yeah.
Heard
so
about
that whole thing happened, but 2,600 points as a high school player. The COVID thing actually got him a 5th year. And this 5th year was the year where they lost to Warren Central in the rematch in 2023. But the 2023 run was funny because when I was looking back, like in the first round, guess who they had to beat in the first round of that 2023 championship was Reed Sheppard and North Laurel. Reed Sheppard just yesterday was shaking off a LeBron's shoulder to the chest by knocking down mid-range pull-ups and, stealing the ball from LeBron's hands in the middle of the floor. Like just 3 years ago, like Jerone Morton was locking him down in Rupp Arena, sending his team home. And then the very next game, Jerone Morton beat Travis Perry and was locking up on Travis Perry against Lyon County before they went to the championship. So just kind of funny to look back at all that. But yeah, he's a great kid. Josh Cook always raved about him. Even after they won, GRC just won the championship last month, their 3rd ever state championship. He even said that, like, Jerone Morton was here this week, like practicing, like, he's already come back. Like he was already still involved with the program and things like that. So yeah, I'm totally fine with him being a backup depth piece. Like you said, a guy that really wants to be here. He's going to work hard. He understands the role that he's going to get coming in, which is going to be off the bench. Should Kentucky probably be getting a more talented overall roster? I don't know. Like I'm trying to figure out where I'm at, like in terms of, are we shooting for a top 5 roster, or like, is it a good enough roster as is right now? So I'm still kind of internally battling how I feel about the roster as a whole, but I'd like just in a vacuum, individual pickups. I like McBride. I like Morton. I like how they all kind of fit in there. And it'll be a lot of fun to watch Jerone Morton because he would have crawled to Lexington to be on this team from Washington State, I'm sure. So it'll be nice to have him in the fold. And another kid that I'm really excited to talk to, and I'll be like, hey, do you remember me? I took a picture of you 4 years ago. We'll see if you remember.
That won't creep him out at all.
Yeah, I definitely remember. I heard his
lead
dad
with that at media day. I would love that.
Yeah,
I heard his dad with Cutler. You could just tell he's very excited to have him back home. He's talking about how he watched Jack Gibbons and he can't wait to meet him. It's like hoping to become friends with Goose. I'm still all on get the best players you can get. I'm not going to get caught up too much in the romanticism of hometown kids. We're leaning in that a little too much, I think. But just in a one-off situation, as Zach said, you got to be happy for him, and you got to have depth somewhere. This is a guy that's not coming in and is going to be commanding a lot of minutes or going to be any kind of problem because he's on the bench. He knows what he's coming here to do, and he'll compete. And hopefully it'll turn into something special. You know what else is special? Trips to Israel. That's far away. That is not close. That is my expert opinion on geography. I think it's like a 12-hour flight.
It's got to be. I think
Mark Steven crunched the numbers on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Steven,
I looked it up. It's like 13 hours from Lexington's airport, and so it's a 26-hour round trip.
Did he go? Was that private? Because if it's private, I mean, it saves him a little time, but it's also very expensive. Regardless,
can that little plane go that far? I don't think private. There's no way.
Does the Crafts plane go that far? I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess he went up to JFK and hopped on one to Tel Aviv, but I have no idea there. Regardless, we know that Mark Pope made it to Israel the day after Justin McBride's commitment, and nothing else happened that night. Pope got on a flight, got to Israel to see Marcio Santos. Would pretend that I knew who that was before Wednesday, but like most people watching this, maybe even the people participating in this, and everyone in Big Blue Nation, not really a name that was on our radar, but it is now, as Pope went and checked out the 24-year-old Brazilian. There's some confusion there. He plays in Israel, but he's from Brazil. Plays for Tel Aviv in the Euro Leagues with really the highest level of basketball outside the NBA and the Olympics and, the obvious stuff. So the guy can play, but Zach didn't put up his best numbers with Mark Pope in the building after that flight. What do we think of just Pope considering Santos, and how, I hate to use the word desperate, but since it came up in that, what was that, a tweet? What was that? I don't even know what
Google
we were following.
Translate. It got lost in translation, I'm sure, a little bit. I hope that wasn't, maybe that's exactly how they were describing Kentucky, but I had no idea about this guy until a couple days ago. And of course, he has like his worst game of the season with Mark Pope sitting there sideline, and then BBN finds the tweets of his 0 for 4 shooting performance in the first half, and it all kind of spirals from there. But once I started actually looking into this kid, well, I should say kid, but like you said, like he'll be 24 years old in November. So there's the whole 5-5 thing. Like, is he even going to be eligible for that? I believe Jack had a pretty significant update on that on KSR Plus maybe last night. Kind of saying that the eligibility is kind of a concern, but maybe not so much. So we'll see how that kind of all plays out. There are other teams poking around too. But he is, like I said it on whatever show, I've done 1,000 shows, it feels like this week, but another show I said that
Humble brag.
Jai, yeah. Well, it's all been this show. It's all KSR YouTube. And Jai has the higher floor or higher ceiling by far, but Santos has the higher floor by he comes in and he's 6'8" around that height. A lot of people have been questioning, is he going to be the backup 4? Why is he listed as center? He's been playing center pretty much his entire life. He's listed as a center on every single website you can find. He's been playing international and professional basketball since he was 15 years old. He's been an all-star. He's been a champion at various levels. Now playing in the Euro League, was really good in the Bundesliga last year. The guy has literally put up 12 points and 6 rebounds on 40% three-point shooting everywhere he's been for the last 5 years. And he's got some underrated athletic chops to him as well. Would be kind of your perfect backup 5-man if you're Kentucky, if you can find a way to land him. So the more I started to look into him, I was like, man, this is a guy that can come in right away, and you kind of know exactly what you're getting because he's been doing it for a long time at levels that are better than college basketball, at least here in the United States. So we'll wait and see, I guess. I know there's other schools poking around. We'll see who can kind of get him across the finish line. But yeah, you don't go all the way to Israel if you don't think you have a chance to get him. So we'll see what Mark Pope is cooking up. But he would be I would take him in a heartbeat as your backup 5 behind Malachi. No questions asked. I think that would raise the ceiling or the floor of this team next year for sure. A pretty significant chunk. So.
Well, and to kind of build on that, Zach, you were talking about the other schools being involved. I don't know about you all, but when I found out that Baylor and LSU were the other schools involved, that actually made me feel better about this because we didn't know who this guy was a couple days ago. But the fact that other schools are after him too it's almost a comfort. Now, I hope that that Mark Pope going all the way over there to meet with him gives Kentucky the lead in this recruitment. And it sounds like so far it has, but that's something to keep an eye on, right? This is not just a shoo-in that he's going to be on the roster, even though his coach's comments were interesting. It's we wish him luck, Yeah.
That's when it gets lost in translation with the language barrier and everything. You never really know exactly what the real message is behind that. So I tried not to look too much into that, even though that's basically exactly what he said. We'll see him in Lexington, but we'll see, I guess.
I got a message shortly after the Stokes announcement that said Pope is going to Israel for 2 days. And I didn't know if he was going to find a player, going to find himself. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't really know. We were shopping around in Israel, but then I watched some of Santos's highlights. I'm all in. I'm a sucker for YouTube highlights. I think part of it is also just the age. Whatever he would look like in a Kentucky uniform, I think it would be good for Malachi Moreno to go against that every day in practice. I was jokingly talking about having to fight Brandon Garrison and practicing all the time with McBride. But I really think there's something to the guy you compete with in your own building a lot. And I think a veteran that's played so much pro basketball against grown men, whatever he looks like on the court, I think he could certainly help Malachi, and we'll figure out the rest. So I hope it works out. But, yeah, there are other schools, LSU and BYU being mentioned. I just hope we do all that Zooming. I mean, we Zoom people in Georgetown, Kentucky. I mean, he Zooms people in Frankfurt. He Zooms people inside New Circle, and then it's the flight to Israel. So this one, we got to get it done. Paducah Paul, big money. Thank you. $10.
Thank you. Chat. Awesome.
They might buy me 2 diapers that I need for a collection. We'll get right to it. Let me read it.
I got a quick thing on Santos real quick. Big Anthony Davis fan. Grew up a big Anthony Davis fan. I read it from an Israeli newspaper when he first arrived at Maccabi Tel Aviv before the season. That was a player that he tried to grow up and mimic. Obviously, a little bit of a different player as a kind of a 6'8" bully ball guy. Not Anthony Davis by any means, but I just found that interesting that was the one player that he happened to reference. So Kentucky connection, maybe we'll see.
Can't hurt.
We can do one of those old videos, that compare a commitment to a former player.
Maybe he could talk to him during the little Wildcat sit down they've been doing with former players.
Yeah, there you go.
That would be awesome.
I was thinking of Tyler Hero. They made a video where he morphs into Rex. We could do Marcio Santos AD video. Get that done.
We have
I
like
forgot.
Santos sitting down. Remember the videos they used to do where it'd be a little kid watching the TV?
Yeah.
So like you have 24-year-old Santos sitting in front of the TV watching AD highlights. That'd be awesome.
It'd be funny.
Okay,
Santos
sorry,
sitting-
Paducah Paul. We'll get to you.
Could be Santos sitting with his own kids watching it. Paducah Paul, what are we doing? I grew up on Sutton, then Patino brought us back. Then we slipped with Tubby. I agree Cal needed to go. Oh, I lost it. Where'd it go?
We
If someone sees
agree
it,
Cal
There it
needed
is.
to go, but we are back to being made fun of nationally. How do you come back from that?
it's very easy, Paducah Paul.
Win.
You got to win some basketball games. And we're not doing that. As Ed Reed said in the famous Miami video, Joaquin said, dominate. We're not doing it. You can get little wins here in the offseason. There can be exciting things. I mean, look at Will Stein right now. Those social media videos can have some fun. But we still don't know about Will Stein until he gets on the field. Nothing that they can do secondary. Put your little smiles on your face here and there. But until Mark Pope starts winning basketball games at the rate it's expected around here, I don't know if there's a whole lot he can do outside of little bones he can throw the fan base the next few months.
Well, and here's where I'm at. And Paducah Paul, if this makes you feel better, Mark Pope is going to be the coach here this upcoming season. Nothing's going to change that. And the players that have come here, we need to get behind them because they chose to come here despite all of the negativity surrounding the program, its reputation, and even the fan base. They chose to come here. And Justin McBride seems to be like a great kid. They all seem to be like great kids. So just support them because none of us can change what's going to happen with Mark Pope, right? We can't make Kentucky win games or lose games, even though some fans seem to think we have that power. But just get behind them, support them. What comes will come. If it doesn't go well, in less than a year, we'll be looking for a new coach. If it goes well, then things have turned around and we just need to keep up the support. So that's kind of where my mind is with all this. Definitely want people to get behind these players. They don't deserve a lot of the negativity surrounding everything. We just need to cheer them on, and whatever will be, will be. Paducah Paul, I hope that makes you feel a little bit better.
There are times where I think Big Blue Nation gets a bad rap because of some bad apples, but then there are some times where I'm like, all right, we got to chill a little bit. And when they tagged Zion Hawthorne like in his Instagram post, it's literally on his feed, and like he can see the mentions, and there was some negativity there. I'm with Tyler. I mean, we got to put on a little bit of a smile for these guys if you're truly a fan. I'm not here to sunshine pump and act like this team's going to go to the Final Four, but there are moments, especially like commitments of McBride's that was tucked in at dinner time the other night, or Hawthorne's coming at a time when people wanted some other names out there, and they give you a guy who's really going to be on the end of the bench and doesn't have big expectations. We did get a little out of hand there, bro. Overall, we got to – I felt awful for that kid. I don't know.
It's not his fault. And apparently he grew up wanting to play for Kentucky. That was the saddest part. It's like, this is probably a core moment for him in his life that he gets to not only go to college and play Division I basketball, but a program he grew up cheering for like Kentucky with his older brother. That's super cool. And I think just the panic of the portal and the roster building kind of got to BBN that day, and they saw that and they were like, Are you kidding me? And Zion Hawthorne is probably not going to play a bunch next year. He's going to be mop-up minutes, if at all. He'll be, I don't think he's going to walk on or anything. That doesn't exist anymore, but he'll be the equivalent of Walker Horn or something like that, coming in at the end, maybe getting a few more minutes than that. So is it really worth losing your mind over that? I don't think it is.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't about Zion in particular.
No.
It was all about the fact that Mark Pope's 2 high school commits are the brother of a player that didn't play last season and the son of a coach you hired 3 weeks ago. So I think that's kind of how I think that was the context of it all. But yeah, I mean, Zion Hawthorne isn't, you get him, you bring him in. There's no reason not to really. You got 15 spots. Hey, shout out Very Sad Kitten. $5.
I like this little thing. That's awesome.
Sorry I'm broke. Go ahead, Tyler. You read it since you mentioned it.
Sorry, I'm broke. Thanks for y'all supporting the boys we got. All will be fine. Tyler said it well. Well, you said it well too, a very sad kitten. Don't be too sad. We can't change the outcome of the games. Just got to get through the next year and just see what happens. Man, Paducah Paul.
Paducah Paul, goodness. In this
loaded.
economy?
Did we change his mind?
Paducah Paul must have that barge money down there that they keep talking about.
All right,
We're gonna
Zach,
send you
you
a
read
tax
this
form.
Tyler, I agree, and I will be 100% behind this team. I love this university, and UK basketball means the world to me. I just hate being moked.
Same.
I think it means mocked.
Yeah.
I hate being moked
get
too.
it.
Duke
I
Paul,
get
I
it.
do.
And I hate even the Pope memes have gotten out of control. I mean, just when there were a couple days, and Drew, I hope you weren't on your phone during these days, where they were so bad, you would just open Twitter and it would just be over and over and over again. And it's just, I get it. Everybody's panicked, but it was just getting to the point it was absolutely ridiculous. Even though if there was one that really did make me laugh, and it was the one about the caterpillar or the, I'd have to look it up again.
I don't know if I saw that one.
It was really funny. I don't know.
I'm smirking because I'll admit to laughing at some memes, but I would laugh about memes about myself. A good meme just deserves to be laughed at. So I will say I have seen some, but even though I don't like that it's happening, they've been pretty clever. But I won't even shine a light on them. I'll keep them in text. But I will admit I've smirked at a couple. It happens. We played nice though, and you should be nice to all those recruits. But overall, I'm not afraid to say I'm still one better of this roster, like most people do. I don't think it's as bad as some people are saying. I've seen people acting like it's bottom 4 SEC as it is, and we're not going to win a game, not going to make the tournament. I genuinely like Diallo and Wilkins, as we said when we got them. Njai, we'll see how it turns out. It's always hard when a guy's coming over from internationally how he translate. But, I mean, as I said earlier, I'm a sucker for the highlights. Look good's there. We like McBride. You needed depth. We've talked about how the guys have the right attitude. So I don't hate what's in front of us, but it still needs star power. And that's where whatever you thought of Stokes, he at least would have checked that box. And now we're running out of time a little bit on star power. Is there specifically the wing is where they struggle? Is it a case, maybe, Zach, that he just rolls with Cam Williams and Braden Hawthorne, or do you think there's still hope internationally? Because everywhere else he seems to have mostly checked boxes what he wants, but except on that wing, they still need a little more of a proven player and scorer.
Yeah, it's the wing that's really the one spot they need to fill. And I generally like the actual roster construction. I do like better compared to last season. I mean, it's hindsight's a little 2020 looking at last season because we know how it all played out, but I generally like the construction of it better with the depth and everything. I think you upgraded kind of your ball handling and your dribbling, which was an issue last year. If Malachi gets 20% better, like that's going to be a significant upgrade there, which I think is kind of the expectation. Hell, he might get better than 20% better. People in the comments keep talking about this, who's this dude, the Stefan Joksimovic guy. If you go over on KSR Plus, you'll see a lot of things saying he is not a Kentucky target. So I think people should probably stop mentioning his name. I don't think that's a possibility. I think the one guy that you can maybe have a glimmer of possibility of is Milan Momcilovic, who we know pretty well from him playing Kentucky in the round of 32. Oh, shout out to Paducah Paul again.
He's coming back.
We're about to be rich.
All right.
Rolling,
what's
guys.
going on here? It's like we're laundering money. Scrooge McDuck money over here.
Get your money.
Yeah. I'm gonna put this $25 in my 401k. I'll see you all when I'm 65 here.
Avery, more diapers. Sorry.
But I do generally like the total roster construction. Is the overall talent good enough to be a top 10 team right now? I don't really know. So we'll see kind of how Mark Pope can fill out those last 3 spots. I think it's kind of been a consensus on social media and Twitter and everything of like, you probably need another backup. You need a backup center who could potentially be Santos. You need maybe like a 3, someone at the 3 that you can bring in to maybe be a starter or at least, kind of an upgrade at that spot. Not necessarily you'd want a star, but that I don't know what the options are at that point. And then maybe, another backup or like another shooter, like just a pure shooter type guy. So we'll see how they kind of go from there. I think they're probably looking at like a top 25-ish roster, top 20-ish roster, which, I'm trying not to look at it from just the expectations of you have to win a national championship. I'm trying to at least have fun with the fact that because I love Kentucky basketball, so I'm going to try and cheer for it regardless. But we'll see. They just got to get. I don't know. Can you roll with Cam Williams at the 3? You can, I guess, but I don't know if that's going to get you to a national championship. So, and if that's still the ultimate goal, like. I don't know. It's like I said earlier, it's hard the internal battle of how I feel about the roster is interesting because I like the construction of it. I think it's better put together than last season. I think the talent overall might be a little bit better, but is it still national championship caliber? I don't know. And then you got Cam Williams, Braden Hawthorne, Trent Noah. There's different guys you can throw at that 3 spot. So there will be options. But I'm just happy to have guys like Wilkins and Diallo, like Drew was saying, guys that can just dribble and pass. Like, that's just going to be such a massive upgrade compared to what was last season where I give Denzel Everdeen so much credit. Like, I think what he had to do was a borderline impossible task, and he pulled it off better than anyone I think could have ever expected him to do. But those guys, like, you still only had one guy that can dribble. So, like Jerone Morton, I think he's probably not as supremely talented overall as a Jasper Johnson, but I feel more confident about him bringing the ball up the floor and being able to get off his shots than I do with Jasper Johnson. So, it's I gotta see if you can land a star, and if you can't, then I don't really know how the season's going to go. But if you can, then things can change a little bit. So let's just everyone hope that Milan pulls out of the draft and Mark Pope says, "Here's all the money in the world. Here's 3 hams worth of money. Come play for Kentucky."
I wish we had just gotten a little bit of Hawthorne last year. He's just such a mystery. I know, Zach, we got to see him maybe, twice? Like, we had the NBA Pro Day or whatever, and maybe like a media practice. And he looks smooth, but it's just so hard to know and that was in October before the season even began. So hard to know what you could be getting, but maybe he could be a surprise. Kind of same with Cam Williams. He had just gotten into the starting rotation a few weeks removed from hitting 8 threes in a game or whatever it was against Bellarmine. Looked like he was turning a corner, and then we kind of get robbed of seeing him finish out his freshman year. So if it is those two, maybe one, maybe both can surprise with their upside, but it's just hard to rely on that right now with them both being unknowns. Also looking for a star. Say one of those guys become one. I mean, the thought process, Malachi takes a big leap forward. Yeah. Maybe Njai surprises us and he just comes over and quickly adapts to the game and can play. So there's still hope. I think we all can agree, Tyler. Hopefully we get the Iowa State surprise or someone else to come help out, because it just doesn't feel like quite enough for what Kentucky ultimately wants to do, even though we like the foundation of it.
Yeah, I think you still need one proven scorer, one proven star. It'll be interesting to see how long we have to wait on Momcilovic's decision. I think right now he's mocked to be 35 in the draft. Yeah. I mean, he could make more than that at Kentucky than he would.
Second round is not guaranteed money. That's all. I keep coming back to that. Is second round money is not guaranteed. You would make more at UK. I understand you want to try and get in the NBA early as possible to get to that second contract, but he's still already 21 or whatever it is, 22. Like, if you can make several $1 million coming back to Kentucky and probably stay in that same range, the 30 range or whatever, I think it could be wise for him to come back. But his stock is kind of at an all-time high because he shot 50% from 3 last year. Like, even if he shoots,
it was the nation's top 3-point shooter, wasn't he? He was like number 1. Yeah,
even if he regresses and shoots 10% worse next season at Kentucky, it's like, well, he's still a 40% 3-point shooter. He's taking 7 of them a game. Like, that would still be a really, really good player. So even if his 3-point shooting regressed, I would take him in a heartbeat. And I think that would be a good stage for him. You're still getting more NBA eyes on you than you are at Iowa State. So it would be awesome to get him. I would do a lot of things to get Milan Momcilovic wearing Kentucky blue.
So we've got until May 27th, I think, until they have to decide if they want to, or early entrants, underclassmen have to decide whether or not they want to stay in the draft or come back. So it could be a while. I doubt he'll take that long, but it still might be a bit. So it'll be interesting. Hopefully it doesn't drag on too long. If it's another less than a month, I think BBM might go insane, but we'll see.
Hard times around here for Kentucky fans. We'll be all right. We had it too good for too long. We're just in a little bit of a lull, and the lull's stretch just a few more seasons than we like. We'll be back.
Exactly.
I hope. Please be back. Reed Sheppard's back. Reed Sheppard told LeBron to eat it. Sure, Reed Sheppard had, there we go. Sure, what was that, game 2, game 3, where he kind of helped?
Where he blew it.
3. We won't put it all on Reed, but Reed did have a pivotal moment in the Rockets blowing it. But since they've won the last 2 games, still down 3-2 against the Lakers. But last night, I don't know if we can call it complete redemption from him losing the ball in game 3 and LeBron hitting the 3, but he did have a big moment late in the game, tight game with the Lakers, where he swiped LeBron, goes and gets a dunk. Also scored 5 straight points, Zach, after LeBron gave him a little shoulder running down the court. So, sure, LeBron got in his head once, but Reed Sheppard was in LeBron's head last night.
Yeah, and he was sick too. Like you could tell in the post-game press conferences, like he could barely talk. His voice was bad. He had like a sniffly nose. Like so, he obviously wasn't feeling too good. He only had 12 points for the whole game, but that sequence, that 30-second sequence with about 3 minutes left in the game, LA's up or Houston's up 5. LeBron gets the layup to cut it to 3. Then he shoves Reed, and then Reed just takes over for the next 30 seconds and pretty much ends the entire game and gets it to the point where. Yeah, now it's 3-2. No team in NBA history has come back from down 0-3. It's happened 159 times. It has never once happened. Only 4 teams have been able to get it to a game 7. So, and that series is weird because like Luka's still hurt. Austin Reeves came back for the first game last night. Didn't look too great. Kevin Durant's only played 1 game and he's already ruled out for game 6 for Houston. So it's like just a weird combination. It's basically Reed Sheppard versus 41-year-old LeBron James, and Reed won the game last night, and which is just, it is kind of crazy because like I was saying, like Jerone Morton knocked him out of the state championship 3 or 4 years ago, and now Reed Sheppard's telling LeBron to eat it essentially, which is just kind of crazy. Like every time I'm watching Reed Sheppard play for the Houston Rockets, I'm like, I cannot believe I watched this kid play 35 high school games. He was a junior and senior at North Laurel, and yes, he was good, and he was like a borderline top 30 high school recruit. I'm like, I cannot believe that he is doing what he is doing right now in the NBA. It is really some special stuff, even though he can't really play a lick of defense. He's just got such great hands, and he's such a great offensive player that you just kind of have to leave him on the floor. I think Udoka is kind of a terrible coach, but Reed's going to find a way to continue on his rise, and it's nice to see him getting his flowers right now. And hell, we'll see what happens. Game 6, I think, is Friday night back in Houston. So we'll see. Kevin Durant's not playing. Still no Luka potentially, so we could potentially be getting a game 7, baby. That would be pretty cool.
I'm still in disbelief with Reed. I thought I would have gotten used to it by now. I'm still in disbelief he played at Kentucky. Like I haven't even gotten used to what he did at Kentucky yet. And then like last night when he was picking LeBron, it reminds me, I don't play video games anymore, but when I would like create myself and then I'd become like an NBA All-Star, and there's just this 6'4" white dude from Kentucky killing it on 2K. That was on a game. Never thought it'd happen in real life. I had to buy a lot of those VC coins to even get good enough to make those plays on a video game. Reed Sheppard is just living that. I feel like he's a created player from London, Kentucky, who is actually in real life going head-to-head with LeBron in the playoffs. And we should be used to it by now. It's not fresh. But last night, turning that on, I'm like, I can't believe the kid from Region 13 is even playing in this level of basketball, let alone head-to-head with LeBron and playing well. So it's been watching him, Tyler. I don't know if you're keeping up, but it's crazy seeing the boy out there against the biggest name in basketball in the playoffs.
I haven't been watching too much of the playoffs. I did see the clip of LeBron like giving him the shoulder, but then I was so happy to see the clip that followed a few clips later. Reed had a dunk and they went on to win. So I was very happy he got redemption there. Like I said, haven't watched a ton of playoffs. That's why I have Zack Geoghegan in my life to keep me updated. Like I kind of look forward to having him on Happy Hour so he can tell us what's going on in the NBA. But it's fun. Go Reed. I'm loving it. I'm sure 13th region's loving it. I'm sure Stacy and Jeff are too. Reed's an uncle now. His older sister has a little baby. So I follow her on Instagram. So it's been cute to see. They've been out to see him a couple times. It's pretty adorable.
What that actually kind of an irrelevant point, but it's slightly relevant. So I was watching, I forget which game it was. I want to say maybe it was the Lakers game last night where there was someone on a fan was sitting there on the sidelines, like the very front on the court side there, and they had an infant child, like maybe 2 months old.
It might have been
brand new baby.
Yeah.
I don't think it. Well, actually, now that you said it, I don't think it was, but I saw that and I was like, "Is that safe?"
Would you do that with Avery Rose?
They were right next to the bench. What happens if LeBron? Well, it's like, what if LeBron just dives for a loose ball and you're just sitting there bouncing your little baby on your knee, like? What's going to happen?
She's taking one for the team.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, Drew, as a new dad, would you take your baby and sit courtside at a high-stakes playoff game knowing that something like that could happen?
Oh, absolutely. If we get hit, we're getting a big check. I'll make sure she's okay. I'll deflect. Get back, LeBron. Come on, baby here, LeBron. Get back. If we're wearing the ear things, I feel like those are important. But yeah.
She didn't have those. The baby didn't have those either.
Yeah, I'd probably do the ear things. I'm still learning, though. Like, I barely know the basics. So this is not advice for anyone, but it feels like the ear things, the earmuffs are important.
Duke Paul just gave you a shout out.
It's made of money. I'm telling you,
my goodness,
Duke, it's real.
Sorry for not saying this, but congrats, Drew, and welcome to the Girl Dad Club. Thank you, Paducah Paul. I appreciate that, and all the money you've given us today. I feel like so we're gonna have to send you a 1099 or something with all this. We appreciate you helping us out, Paducah Paul. It says your Girl Dad Club also. I'm very new to it, but happy to be in the club. Looking forward to the future as we go to courtside at Lakers games coming up. Some other NBA. Well, I guess we'll hit our expert with tonight's games. Well, we got Jamal Murray's up against the ropes against Julius Randle tonight. What do we have? Is tonight also Boston? Yeah, Boston, Philly. Amari Williams can send Murray home. Tyrese Maxey home. Get all my players confused. Amari played the other night. Got 2 minutes. Not gonna say it was a huge impact, but when Pope signed a guy from Drexel, didn't have him getting minutes for the Celtics a year later. So it was good. Good seeing Amari get some run. But do you think Jamal Murray can hang on as Denver went surprisingly down to Minnesota in that series, or if Maxey can stay in it a little bit longer in those two games? I guess Knicks Hawks game 6 is tonight too.
Yeah, Knicks Hawks will be fun. Cat has been playing well. He had a triple-double, his first career triple-double earlier. I think the Knicks will probably pull that one out. It was funny, like right after Tyron Stokes picked Kansas, Jack's Boston Celtics just got boat raced by the Sixers. I was like, man, what a terrible night for Jack program. Like, I was going to text him and make fun of him, but I was like, you know what? I'm actually not going to do that.
Don't rub it in.
Yeah, I'm not going to rub it in too much. So, I think the Celtics probably get that one done too. The interesting one is that Nuggets Timberwolves, because Anthony Edwards is still out and will be out. So if there is an opportunity for Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic to make a comeback, like they were down 3-1, won the last game. They're on the road tonight. If you win that one and go back home, like you're probably going to pick the Nuggets. So get some good games on tonight. I'll be tuned in to all of them for sure.
Did you enjoy watching the Cavs last night?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was last night.
The Cavs 3-2. I felt like I was watching a Kentucky game. I was so annoyed with how it was going. My team sucked for about 42 minutes, but the last 6 minutes, they really pulled it out. And they're up 3-2 now as we go back to Toronto. So no Kentucky guys. Well, Emmanuel Quickly's on the Raptors, but he's been out all series and will miss the whole series with a hamstring injury. So I haven't been able to watch him, but it's been nice watching my Cavaliers hopefully get to the next round. But James Harden, boy, I hate watching him. I'll tell you that. I do not like watching him play basketball for my favorite team. So I'll be glad when that's over, whenever it is. But hopefully we can get to a conference finals or something first, because the door is opening pretty easily for them to get to a conference finals, actually. So hopefully that can happen.
Some of the only playoff games I've watched, we watched, and I looked up and James Harden was playing. I was like, how is he still in the league?
37.
Like watching James Harden
doesn't run back on defense and just turns the ball over. It's awesome.
37 and plays like it, maybe.
Yeah.
I met James. Whoa, this is out of control. I didn't even get to talk about James Harden's bad breath before we got another super chat.
What is
Logan's Woodshack LLC 8989. I guess we're getting some advertising. Superstar. I don't even know what this means.
I don't know what
but thank you for 19. We almost got $20.
Look at all the diapers and beer we can buy. This is great.
I don't really know what else to say because there wasn't a question, but thank you for the super sticker. I was going to say that James Harden, I got to meet him during the lockout in 2012 with the Thunder. Worst breath on any human being ever. I don't know if something was in his beard or his actual breath. I'm telling you, I couldn't even put into words how bad his breath was. So just as you're hating on a player that plays for your team, just want to let you know he also doesn't brush his teeth.
Great. Awesome.
Well, shout out to a very sad kitten for $10 more. He said he found a bit more. You all have a wonderful evening. This is fantastic.
Very happy kitten.
Just do this all day.
How does this work, Steven? Do you just pocket this? Do you just transfer this to your own account?
I genuinely have no idea how that all works, like where that money even goes. So
it'll go to our hotel room in Nashville next year. I went beer number 2 here, by the way, if anybody heard that.
Rock and roll. Awesome.
I got to mow the yard after this. By the way, Zach, I got to see Zach in person while I was out, by the way. Thank you all. Went and met him. You all gave me a nice gift from the crew.
What was I doing?
Mowing. That's what I was going to bring up. Also, an outdoor couch. Nice. I'm not going to just describe your entire property. Nice privacy fence, or if he wants to lay out there and have a little evening, he can certainly do it. Is the lawn care going well? I know you're a little stressed out early on.
Yeah, still kind of a little stressed out about it, but it's actually funny. Earlier this week, and if anyone in the chat can advise me on this, maybe you all can as well. So I'm in a duplex, and there's a guy next to me, and the guy next to me just had his internet installed. So Spectrum came by, and they put flags and spray paint in my yard because that's where they have to run the line, or like underground is through my yard. Can they do that? I've been trying to Reddit search it. I can't figure it out. I feel like they can, because everything I've said says that basically they can do whatever the hell they want, and I just have to suck it up. So that's kind of annoying, but they're still on my lawn. This was Tuesday when they put them down. I'm mowing the lawn tomorrow. Guess what? I'm ripping those things up. And if they come and say anything, I'll be like, well, maybe do it the day of or something, See, Hoochie Man's telling me they're allowed to. Hoochie Man 420. I want give me some good stuff instead. But yeah, that's super annoying actually. So everyone's telling me yes they can. I don't like this. So now I just have
welcome to adulthood.
Yeah, this is why I miss living in an apartment where I didn't even have a yard, so I don't have to deal with that. But it's just one of those an easement. Yes, easements. I didn't know what that word meant until earlier today, and now I know all about it. So yes, I guess I'll just have to sit here and suck it up. Bragging about your all's homes when many can't afford a home. Buddy, I'm renting. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, okay, like I am not living in some mansion at all. Like, I'm gonna stop reading these comments because they're kind of funny. But yeah, so I got to go out there and mow the whole thing. I'm tearing those things out of there, and if they want to come back and put them back in, they can do that. But
they will.
I'm not waiting. I'm not waiting an extra 7 days to mow my lawn. It needs it, because lawns they grow quickly when it rains out. I've quickly learned. So yes, this is going to be a once a week thing for a while, it feels like.
I mowed 5 days ago, and I'm shocked that I have to go back out and do it again. To the person that said we're bragging about our wealth, did you see how excited we got over a $10 super chat that we probably don't even get?
I'm living in a duplex.
Did you not see the joy when we got $19.99 from Logan's Wood Shack LLC? I'll wear a Logan's Wood Shack LLC hoodie if I have to.
Yes.
And also, Zach,
Paducah Paul, you got to stop.
All right, Paducah Paul, at some point, this is going to be a habit. You're going to have to address this with your wife. She's going to be like, what are all these charges for KSR happy hour?
This is great. Oh, well, shout out to you, Paducah Paul. This is incredible. I'm loving it.
All right.
Who probably doesn't need a ton of money, but would appreciate it all the same, John Wall. He's got a new job.
What's he getting paid for that?
I don't know. I was wondering what the running rate is for what is he, director of basketball operations or president of basketball operations at Howard?
Yeah.
He took that role.
I imagine this is a shadow job of sorts. I don't think John Wall is going to be doing much.
So it's like Steph Curry as the assistant GM at Davidson.
And Trae Young at Davidson or at Oklahoma. It's like, I don't think these guys are really doing too much. Like, I'm sure it's nice. They're probably like, hey, John Wall, come give us some money and we'll give you a nice title, a fancy title, like help fund our program. I assume it's probably a little bit closer to that as opposed to an actual role where he's going to be in the building every day. He might help with like recruiting some stuff, like, hey, like, John Wall's going to come talk to you. We want you to come to Howard type thing. So, and I understand why UK fans are upset about it. I don't have a massive opinion on it one way or the other, to be perfectly honest with you. I guess it'd be nice to have John Wall working here, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't think he's doing much for this Howard job. I don't know how much he would actually be doing here. He's kind of fresh off the basketball scene playing himself. He's doing the whole, I think he's with Amazon Prime. I forget. There's so many now, but I think he's with Amazon Prime. So he's doing the whole broadcast thing. I don't think that's going to be much of a hands-on day-to-day role that he's taking at Howard, if that eases anyone's worries about Kentucky not bringing him in to do something similar.
Well, to that, I would say this narrative started by 2 or 3 knuckleheads that he's just going to sit in a rocking chair and eat hay needs to stop.
Yeah. Well, that ended up being true. So,
are you saying that he has a golden parachute from Howard and he's not going to be doing anything? No, you're exactly right. This is a ceremonial. Hey, look, John Wall works for us job, but good for John and good for Howard. Yep. That's good for them. Big DC guy. I can only imagine all the connections he already has there, and he will be a big help, Tyler. Even though if I don't know that you'll be seeing John Wall clock in every morning at the Howard Athletic office, that has to be a big help for him, and good for him for doing it when he doesn't have to. Man made enough money, he can do whatever he wants. So good on John and Howard.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. The ESPN article about it this morning talked about how he's already dialed in and attending team meetings and, organizing NIL stuff and team strategy and roster management. And I was like, is he really? But you know what? Good for him. Yeah, like I think it sounds like he really wants to do a front office job in the NBA for the ultimate goal. So this is a good way to start and just see if he likes it. I think it's kind of cool. Would I rather him have done something similar at Kentucky? Sure, but I think it's really neat he's doing that at an HBCU And obviously Howard's in DC, so he's got history there.
They love
I
him in DC. My goodness. They love some John Wall in Washington, DC.
Yes, they should. So I think it's a cool move for him. Coincidentally, we talked about Steph Curry and Davidson. So my 20th college reunion is coming up in about a month. And Davidson has asked me to be on a panel to talk about sports media and the college landscape. And I'm on the panel with my fellow 2006 graduates, Matt McKillop, the current Davidson men's basketball coach.
Nice.
And Steph Curry.
Chris Clooney. I wish. Chris Clooney, who's Davidson's AD, also graduated my year. And Brendan Winters, who used to play for Davidson and now is a trainer. But it's crazy. I'm going to be on a panel with these people. And I'm like, can we just get Steph to join? Like, can we just have him be part of the Zoom? I know he wasn't class of 2006, but that'd be really cool. So,
that's very
maybe
cool
I'll
for you,
learn
Tyler.
more. Yeah,
That's
I'm
very
excited
cool for
about
you.
it.
Shout out to Tyler. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's got to be a big honor.
Experience.
It's a Davidson thing, but I think it's going to be on YouTube. So if it is, I'll share it. It's at like noon on May 22nd, I think, or 20th. I don't know. So I'll be busy for that 1 hour. So nothing happened on the site. I'm sure something will. Mom Chilovich will commit to Kentucky or something like that. So
maybe me and Zach will do a watch party. We'll watch you on YouTube
Can you give me some super chats so I can impress my impressive colleagues?
We'll invite the Duke of Paul on,
Yeah, my former classmates. But it's just weird. It's one that I'm having my 20th college reunion. That makes me feel old. Oh gosh, here we go again.
Oh my goodness, more super
A very
chat.
sad kitten. That a very sad kitten gave us another super chat to buy another pack of Country Boy.
Steven's just going to run off with all this money. We're not going to be able to turn off the stream. He's in Mexico right now with all this $65.
Thank you, a very sad kitten. I think a pack of Country Boy probably costs a little more than that, but it will go towards one to be sure. Steven might be going to the track with all that money. He was there today. Steven, you were there. You all did your radio show there, right? At Churchill Downs?
Yes, we did.
How was
Nick
it?
Roush is already getting after it. He's in his element there.
Yeah.
That's
So
So
one
you're-
thing we want to know is Nick alive? That's the first question.
Very much alive.
I love Nick. Okay, if you all aren't educated in Nick Roush by now, surely you are. He's on KSR YouTube all the time, but he loves Derby more than I think I love anything in my life. And I love a lot of things in my life, but his love for the Kentucky Derby is just unparalleled. And he's already started. So he's got today off, tomorrow off, and then he's obviously got Saturday off. He tweeted something this morning, like he's been randomly tweeting his advice to people at the race, and he's like,
Drink
mix
water.
in a water. Like I'll just see like random tweets from him. So it looks like he's already having fun. And Steven, you're going to be out there with him tomorrow, right?
I am. Yeah. So it's going to be like the road trip style video. We tried doing something a few years ago at Oaks, and we couldn't put any of that on YouTube. So,
I have a clip of that saved on my phone. Yes.
so we're going to
That
try it
unreleased
again this
video.
year. But we were
Lord.
trying to interview people. That wasn't really the right. That wasn't really the right thing to do with that video, and I got there a little maybe too late.
So what's the plan? Are you just going to follow him around and stuff?
Yeah. So he's just
Oh,
it's
Lord.
just going to follow Nick Roush around. And I feel like that's not going to be boring at all.
It'll be. You might lose him.
I'm excited about it.
So the setup, we'll give our advice to you in a minute because I'm sure Drew's got some great advice here. But are you going to be going? It sounds to me like if I've known Nick Roush, I've followed his Derby antics for years. You go to the press area and they have free beer there, right?
Yeah, I think so. They didn't today, but
And
but
then
Derby?
Nick sneaks it all back to his friends.
I've heard.
Maybe I shouldn't say that on a
Yeah,
YouTube stream.
I don't know that he does that. There was rumors, but I can't confirm that.
Allegedly, yes.
Allegedly, maybe once, twice. Okay. Well, it'll be interesting. I can't wait to follow along. Drew, do you have
Steven,
any
is
advice
it-
for Steven?
Well, I was going to ask, the infield isn't the infield. I mean, it's still a party, especially with Roush there. But isn't it kind of classy now? People get dressed up. Like the infield back in its day, you would not even think about dressing up for the Derby infield because you're probably going to get in a fight or do a porta potty run, or in Ryan Lemon's case, get body slammed in mud. Now they're classing up the joint a little bit, aren't they?
Yeah, that's what I talked with Nick Roush about today. And he said, I asked him if they cleaned it up a little bit. He said, no, they cleaned it up a lot. And it's not even recognizable to what it was before. But he said that doesn't stop most people from getting crazy over there. So I've never done the Derby in the infield, but this will be my third Oaks. I know that it has changed a little bit from when I first went in 2008. But yeah, I'll have to get some live tweets out, just kind of like really hype up this event. Just following Nick Roush.
Fire up the Periscope. Let's see.
Can we put you? Why don't you just take over the KSR Instagram and just like do story updates throughout?
Yeah,
I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, that's it.
That would be entertaining.
It'll turn into an hour on the Wilson basketball, though. Steven will just take it.
I'll keep the Wilson basketball talk.
These horseshoes aren't regulation. They're not using them across all the horse racing tracks in the country. Come on.
I did the Derby infield back before they classed it up, and it felt like I went to war. It was fun. Lots of stories I can't tell, but it was a battle just being there, just existing.
I did it twice. Yeah, I did it twice in high school, Aaron. That tunnel, I'll still remember being in that tunnel. That was intense. But what were you saying, Drew?
People told me I couldn't sneak in my own booze, and I was kind of good at that stuff back in the day. Wouldn't do it now, never. But I took it as a challenge, and we had so many ways of sneaking in booze. I had a cooler. We made, it's probably like 30 turkey sandwiches individually wrapped, but each one had a Ziploc bag of vodka smashed real thin. You can pour an ounce in and make it real thin, just right there with the lettuce and the tomato on every sandwich. So every sandwich was also an ounce of vodka. And when we got security, they opened it. And you could see they were sandwiches, and we intentionally individually wrapped them. So they weren't going to open our sandwiches and look between the lettuce and the tomatoes. So when I finally rolled it in, we had a cooler with probably 30 to 50 vodka shots that lasted about an hour. There's stories of people that in Louisville would go to the grounds like weeks before and bury bottles of alcohol and like market, and then would go dig it up. Festivals. Yeah.
Seems
it's kind of sad those days are gone.
Yeah, my sister and her friends, one of them was a doctor or a nurse, and so they had like IV bags, and so they would fill IV bags with liquor and then tape them to their bodies and then go in. I don't. This was a long time ago. I don't think you could get away with that now, but that's how they got them in. I also heard people just like injecting watermelons with vodka and stuff like that. So people get creative. I still think it's probably and just hide a bottle under the hat.
Yeah.
I've said this before. My best tip for smuggling in booze, not encouraging it, not even a tip. We'll forget I said it's a tip. This is me just talking. Have an obvious one. You intentionally get caught. It works every time. And then you act mad. Oh, no, you found it. That was the decoy one. Many Kentucky football games. I mean, not Kentucky football games. Many other games in my adolescence, I would have a very obvious pint of crappy bourbon tucked in a jacket, and I'm trying to hide it. And they find it. Oh, no, you got me. No, don't pour it out. Please don't pour it out. Oh, I don't even want to go anymore. But then my pants are just loaded with the good stuff, shoes. Always take a decoy drink and then just fuss about how they found it. Because once they think they got you, and then they start pouring it out and they're looking in their eyes, but you got them because the rest of you's covered. So my biggest not tip advice is intentionally get caught with the decoy bourbon.
I'm going to do this for your daughter's first birthday party.
Oh, no. We'll have plenty of bourbon. You want to sneak it in. We're running really long. Let's do a few. You don't have a derby pick, right? I'll be honest. I can't name a horse, so I'm not the guy for a derby pick.
Renegade is running.
We've had some scratches.
We'll write some derby picks. I see that Hoochie Man 420, by the way. I was hoping that wouldn't get noticed. All right, Hoochie Man, now that we've had a few days to calm down and let things simmer, where does Tuesday rank in terms of all-time PR nightmares? No. Well, Zach told us we're not going to talk about Tyron Stokes. Didn't he mean to say
that was hardly the PR nightmare, honestly.
I will say, just to get it off my chest, I cannot believe that Mo Williams fired off that tweet, the Let's Go tweet. I mean, maybe it was a violation. We shouldn't do that. But,
he was a head coach. You got to know better than that. How many hours of training, seminars, do you think he had to sit through as being a head coach at Jackson State? You got to know better than that.
And just the toying with the fan base, even if you had no faith going into that it could be Kentucky, if you see a coach tweet, let's go, part of you, because it happened to me, is like, wait a minute. What do they know that he would take his phone out and type that? So to the question from I forgot their name already.
It was Hoochie Man.
Hoochie Man. It was a bad PR hit. We already addressed the McBride thing. That was awful to do to him. Leave alone what fans thought about it. That was awful to him.
Bad.
We've made that clear. But also Pope hitting like on a tweet that was pro celebrating Stokes, and then Williams firing off that tweet. Tyler, I think you just need a little PR help, especially on that day.
Hopefully they learned. Let's just be better next time. That's all I can ask. Hopefully they learned.
With the Pope liked tweet, I'm still not. I don't know if I buy that one completely, because the guy who tweeted it out, everyone knows who I'm talking about. I'm not even going to say his name, but he has scrubbed his entire Twitter feed once the Tyron Stokes thing happened, because he was wrong about literally everything. So I'm not even gonna. And he was the one that sent out the Mark Pope liked his tweet or something. So I'm weary on that one. But the Mo Williams one I saw with my own two eyes, and I thought that was just like, I mean, so the only way you could actually tweet at him without it being a violation is if you signed him, if he's on your team. So that was immediately, you're like, well, okay, either Kentucky's about to get Tyron Stokes or an assistant coach just kind of made an oopsie daisy right there. And unfortunately it was the oopsie daisy. But the Justin McBride thing, I think, was just like, man, I haven't seen anything. I mean, looking back, it wasn't that big of a deal really, but when it happened, it was like, okay, is this the shield for Tyron Stokes choosing Kansas? Or are you so confident that you're about to get Tyron Stokes that you're like, let's go a 2-for-1 within an hour of each other? Either way, I just did not like how it all played out with him, at least.
Took that kid's moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it did. What's the next one, Steven? From Hoochie Man again. I would love a quick breakdown on what it would take to land a dude in the portal and how much money we have available at this point. We did that earlier, and we're running way long. The only dude we think's left is Monchilovich from Iowa State. Oh.
No, it's from Woodlink, not Hoochie Man.
Oh, Woodlink. Sorry. Did I dream? Did it say Hoochie Man?
It did. I think Steve.
I say, is my country boy kicking in? I'm not going to be able to mow after this. Monchilovich would be a nice surprise. Other than that, maybe you get an international name. We don't know. That could happen all the time, but just not looking great.
You have a Tyron Stokes amount of money set aside, theoretically. So if an option does come available, you'd have to think that you wouldn't be worried about not being able to pay him the money he's asking for. So at least from that perspective, I feel good they'd be able to at least be in competition for some guy if this guy, this invisible face that we don't really know, or Milan, does show up.
Let's get to another one. Whoop. Next one.
That was the one we did.
Steven ran off with all our super chat money. He just left this thing on autopilot.
There was one about New Circle Road.
Which one was it? There you go.
There we go. Was it worse than driving around New Circle Road to avoid the conversation, the Shade and Sharp drama, walking down Richmond Road, pushing a dog stroller, missing on Zion?
I think that was like in reference.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the PR. Yeah. Well, we're just finishing strong here on this one.
The New Circle Road one is crazy to think about.
I wish we had gotten the Billy Gillespie thing in. Social media just changed the thing so much. I mean, Tyler, you remember the door with Cal.
The OJ thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with Cal, we just watched a door. Like, there was not someone live tweeting we could follow or like any live.
All we had was Les. It was Les in the door. I mean, Les was the Memphis. I think he was a weatherman, wasn't he? And they just sent him out to like stand next to the door. But there was a comment section on that video, and it got wild. Yeah. But yeah, it was simpler times.
Well, now I'm sounding like an old man. Anybody can report anything with a phone. That's how we get the pictures at Carson's or Keeneland. It doesn't take someone on the job to put any of this out. But the Billy Gillespie era, that didn't exist. And if we had been getting live updates of just people like, I'm at the stoplight by Cheetahs, he's in the car next to me, he's still on New Circle, or whatever the case, if we'd been getting real time of that, that would have been the wildest. For me, walking out of the Masters, not being on my phone for 12 hours, and calling my wife immediately and her just saying everything's fine. Cal's pushing the dog in a stroller right now. My brain's like, what? Is she taking crazy pills?
That's the funniest. That's the funniest.
I didn't even know he left. I went from not knowing anything. I just thought Cal was Kentucky's head coach to 12 hours later. First thing she says is Cal's gone and pushing his dog down the street in a stroller. So that one, for me personally, the big jump there, that one threw me off pretty good.
God, that was
that was just it was so intentional too. It was like, yeah, you need to walk your dog and whatever, but do you really if they're in a stroller? But he clearly knew
He
that
was
TV
cheesing the whole
cameras-
time.
Yeah, I'm walking my dog now. Goodbye. You know, like it.
I think it was Keith Farmer that went up to him.
It
Was it
was.
Keith? I think it was, yeah, Keith
Lee
Farmer.
K.
Yeah.
Howard, maybe.
Yeah,
I can't
one of
remember.
those two.
I did see. I
Nice
still
stuff.
follow Ellen on Instagram, and the stroller still is out there. I guess it's for Palmer. I can't remember which dog is still there, but they're still strolling around Fayetteville. So
Palmer and McGruff.
Palmer,
Strollers.
McGruff. I know we lost one of them. I couldn't remember which one's still around. So Cal, I wonder if Cal still strolls around the suburbs of Fayetteville.
As
Living the
someone
new
who's
life.
new to strolling around suburbs, it's a lot. Trying to
I
do
bet.
2 a days.
You have an actual baby, not a
Yeah.
6-pound dog.
I might just take my stroller down Richmond Road, just to join the Calipari movement. Now I'm going to go mow, though. Zach, thanks for all the tips. Sorry we ran long. God, the country boys.
I think you
kicking in.
missed us.
on
I
my
think you
second
missed
one.
us.
I
The
did.
super
sit
chats
here and
and
chat with
2
us.
beers.
Well, really,
Yeah.
the super chats are what made us run long. We had to put all that money in the account that Steven is now embezzling. So congratulations to Steven. Actually, Steven used that money to get Roush out of jail this weekend. It was called a wash. Everybody wins. But thank you,
Oh, my
Zach.
goodness.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Steven. Thank you, Country Boy. It was another fun KSR happy hour. We'll be back next Thursday, but I'm sure there will be a ton of things between now and then on YouTube and on KSR the site and on KS board. Join us there. We have fun. Be nice to Jacob too. Everybody be nice. Life's short. Be nice. It's the internet. There's enough mean people. We don't have to be one of them. All nice people here though, especially Paducah Paul and what was
Woodchuck.
it?
Logan
Logan's
Woodchuck
Wood
stock.
Shack, LLC 8989.
And a very sad kitten. You'll be a happy kitten this time next week. Signing off. Go Cats. Go Country Boy.